going to be very interesting because all three are healthcare providers, which is wonderful. And in my past life, meaning a couple of careers ago, I was also in healthcare. And it is a wonderfully, but yet stressful environment because you are there to help people at their most acute, neediest, most vulnerable time. And I can't think of three people who are better suited for that role than these three. So it was no surprise when Sister Anjani put together a panel because how do you, number one, face stress and decision making, and how do you still remain calm and have that equanimity in that time, but also to have that spiritual fragrance. If you, Carmen, I always say, and if you've been here before, you know, Carmen was my teacher. And I've come to, and they're all in different stages, which is really exciting. Carmen, how many years? 27 years in study, we call Gyan. And not a newbie anymore, but Doctor, you are about 5 years, correct? And Erica, how? 2 years, but wow, she's racing. We talk about racing ahead. So, and I am how many? I'm 8 years. It's 8 years. So I'll just give a brief discussion. Actually, so Sister Carmen, as I had mentioned, is a retired registered nurse, but she's still very involved. She's been studying, practicing, and teaching yoga and meditation with the Brahma Kumaris for 27 years, as she says. She coordinates activities in the Bronx and has also been working with healthcare professionals, at least since I know you, certainly in this facility. And if you've had the pleasure of coming to one of her workshops on a Saturday, they're quite remarkable. She does this through the Point of Life Foundation. I'm sorry, Brother Eric, I think I haven't had my mic to my face. And this is aimed to integrate spirituality into healthcare practices for sustenance, if you will. And she has a great passion for so many things and creative, off the scale creative, doing workshops, retreats, and so many things. And Dr. Sushil Sagar works with love and enthusiasm, and that is true. I have gotten to know him a little bit, and he just oozes love. Is that true? Is that's my, it just everything you do is just with just so much feeling. And he is a nephrologist, but he works predominantly now with underserved communities. Thank you for that. And he has molded into this mission of the Long Island Kidney Associates, which is the premier nephrology consulting services on Long Island. In my past life, I did know because I worked in that demographic, if you will, with wound care. And so I've heard of you even before you came here. He is the director of the Northwell, I worked at Northwell Health DaVita dialysis unit in East Islip and Deer Park, and he's published extensively in scientific journals, and he's a visiting professor. And really what it is he wants to bring his kindness, love, respect, and devotion and care for others. You are very lucky. Your patients are very fortunate. Erica is a nurse, a practicing nurse. As she had mentioned, she is new, not new, 2 years, you're not a baby anymore, but she has really galloped ahead. We talk about those who come last go first. I really think so. You've been to Madhavan? Yes, so she is going to share so much, but I learned myself that you are in healthcare. So I'm excited to hear all of the wonderful things that you're going to talk about. Enough with me, enough talking. Let's get to it. Thank you so much for being here. Zoomers, thank you. This is going to be terrific. Thank you. I'm off. Oh.
Om Shanti. Welcome to this evening. And we are so happy that you are here at Global Harmony House, in spite of the weather and the holiday. So it is so nice to see you. You are, how many of you are unfamiliar with Brahma Kumaris and Global Harmony House? Some are new here. Well, this is, you are in a godly community. That's what we learned this morning, right? You are in a godly community, and our God is teaching us all the time. So today we will explore the color and the fragrance of the soul. That's the whole theme of the whole month of June, that living with the color and the fragrance of the soul. So soul consciousness is our basis and our theme. Thank you. And being a soul conscious brings these colors, which we will define. And I'll do a little bit of the intro for all of you, so that we all are at the same page, more or less, so that the further discussion becomes meaningful. So in essence, for Brahma Kumaris, in our center and world over, spiritual color and fragrances represent the inner beauty of the soul, its virtues, its spiritual qualities that individuals cultivate over a period of time, learn slowly, slowly, and they get there. And how do they get it? By self-realization and by connecting with the divine. So that's how you cultivate this culture. And that's how you mature yourself and get seasoned. The concept of the spiritual color and fragrance with BKs or Brahma Kumaris means different things. Different colors means different virtues of the soul, different powers of the soul, different characteristics of the soul. And functionally, what comes out like out of a flower, they're beautiful colors you'll get attracted to. And then there is a fragrance to that flower. And that fragrance, actually, even if you leave the scene, that fragrance still lingers around and it goes with you sometime when you're in a garden. So the same thing happens with the soul world too. So when soul touches someone, that fragrance is actually transmitted. And that fragrance remains in the room when somebody enters and person leaves, but the fragrance of that person, that soul remains in that room in terms of vibrations, in terms of peacefulness, in terms of love, in terms of sweetness and carefreeness, maybe I can say. So those are the kind of fragrances of the soul, and others are the powers. When it comes to colors, in Brahma Kumaris, white color, we wear white. Look, all three of us are white, and some of you are white. And white means purity to us, and white means inner cleanliness. It's not outer cleanliness. Outer cleanliness is good, but inner cleanliness. Inner means being, the soul is clean, devoid of all the vices at different levels. So that's white. Pure. We want to be white, pure white, inside and outside both. The blue color indicates calm and vastness. Look, the blue sky and blue ocean, universal, right? Most of the universe is covered by blue. So blue is calm and vastness, this vast world. Yellow is knowledge for us. And when it comes to green, it's a new start, new beginning, like a green door, green light. So starting point. And also green indicates Mother Nature, because we have green is immense. Look at the greenery outside. If you look outside, it's nothing but green all over, with some colors here and there. And the red means in more or less every religion that I could come across, every spiritual sessions and lectures I have read and heard about, red means power, strength. And that is what some of these colors of the soul actually indicate to us. They mean different. And when it comes to fragrances, of course, I was trying to categorize the fragrances. There are three categories I could come down to, but you can make more. First is spiritual fragrance, divine qualities developed by the soul through spiritual practices, such as purity, sweetness, like I mentioned before, humility, tolerance, carefreeness. These come by training your own self. And the second would be spreading positivity, of course. All of us talk about positivity. That concept of spiritual fragrance is similar to like flower. I gave you the example before. And that comes from positive energy, lots of love, lot of light from within the soul, and that all combined together gives that positivity. And the last but not the least is inner beauty. Excuse me. Soul's ability to touch others. So when you meet somebody and you feel that that person really left behind something for me, I'm so touched, right? Without knowing anything about the person, you just say, oh, I met this person on the railway station or airport. I got so touched. How do you touch somebody like that? By the care you provide, by the look through the eyes. Look, your thoughts come right away. Oh, may I help you? I'm here. What can I do for you? So that is the touch. That's the inner beauty. So that those features come out with inner beauty. So that's the background I will give you. So we talked about the colors as the powers, and then we call the qualities as the soul's beautiful inner beauty, soul's accommodating power, accommodating fragrance, sweetness, humility. And with that, I think we can start the panel discussion. And I will have some of the very beautiful questions for both Sister Carmen and Sister Erika. Thank you so much, Louise. That is very kind of you. This is what touches, you know? This touched me, right? So this is what is touching inner beauty is when there is something you do without getting anything in return. So when Michelle thought I'm getting a little bit of the throat itch, she went down and got glass, and not for me alone. She thought a step further and two more. Everybody. So that's very kind of you. Nice. Thank you. So sisters, I have drafted some questions for you. And firstly, I gave a little bit of my intro on the colors and the fragrance and living with those in a spiritual world, right? But what does it mean to you living with spiritual colors and fragrance? It may mean different things to different people. Little twist is always possible. So I want to hear your thoughts. What does it mean to leave behind a spiritual fragrance? And in the spaces that you visit or in a relationship, you may say. So maybe we can start with Sister Carmen.
Om Shanti. Good evening, everybody. Is it too much to ask you to come out of your comfort zone a little bit and come over this way? You know why? Because then I have to keep turning around so I can see you. Would you mind? Thank you. You are just so kind.
We have seats right in front also. If you
Yeah, let's be cozy.
nice.
It's just so few of us, so that wait, thank you so much. All right. Okay, so when I think about living with spiritual fragrance, I'm feeling that one lives a life that's imbued with meaning, with purpose, with essence. As Sushil talked about these fragrance and these colors as being thinking of the physical colors, which is symbolic of the colors of the self, the colors of the soul, the colors of the being, the love, the peace, the humility, the joy, the kindness, Michelle's kindness. You know, those things are reflective of the colors of the soul, as he make a point of. And it's not just a theoretical concept, it's a real lived experience. So that a life that is full of these qualities and are lived in a beautiful, practical way is what it means for me when I talk about, or when we talk about living living with spiritual color and living with spiritual fragrance. And I'm sure that we all probably have some experience with, say, a flower, a rose that's very fragrant, or an incense stick that's very fragrant, or a perfume that's very fragrant. And if that happens to be in the space and I walk into the space, I can immediately catch the scent of it, even if I didn't see it, right? I could just be passing by and I smell the essence, the incense, or I smell the rose, or I smell the whatever, and it will touch me immediately. So even when it's gone or I'm gone, I'm left with that fragrance in my mind. Sometimes it might even feel like I'm still smelling it, you know, like it's still here. But it might not be here. It might just be in my memory or in the experience I've had. So when I say I'm living with, or someone is living with spiritual color or spiritual fragrance, it's about living a life that is truly reflecting, and in that life is emanating without effort, naturally, effortlessly, the colors of those qualities that are within the being. So that's how I see that. And when I live that way, I don't have to make effort for someone. You know, the flower doesn't have to make effort for someone to smell it, right? Or the incense stick doesn't have to make effort for someone to smell it. Or the beauty of whatever is out there doesn't have to make effort. It just happens naturally. You see it and you appreciate it, or you smell it and you appreciate it. So that's how I see
Thank you.
living with.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah.
But let's ask the same question to Erica. What do you think? What is your thoughts?
Can everyone hear me okay? No?
Lift it off. Take it off.
Can you take it off? What about now? Better?
Much better.
Okay. As Sister Carmen was talking, I immediately had a vision of a seed. Right? My mother loves to garden. And she grew up doing that, and she continues to do that in her 80s. And it brings her such joy to plant a seed and to see what actually grows from that one seed. I think that spiritual fragrance is a way of living your life with intention and planting yourself in an environment and conditions that will allow you to grow, to flourish, to thrive, even amidst changing conditions and challenges. When we think about flowers, they have to withstand different weather conditions, and such is life. being able to be unmoved, yet planted, yet firm, and even yet beautiful at the same time. There's something about flowers that I really love, and it's the touch of flowers, especially a rose. The petals are so soft, and that also would describe spiritual fragrance, having this softness about you that's immovable, unchangeable, and also beautiful. That's how I would describe spiritual fragrance.
Let's see how the perspective changes a little bit. That Chris, it's so beautiful. Both of you addressed it with some variation, and that's what I like about the panel discussions, because everybody has their own way. But let me ask both of you a question, and that will be probably very pertinent right now. Do you make a constant effort to be that colorful flower? Or if I may say the soul, let's focus on the soul, because I'm going to go away from the physical and go to real soul, awareness of the soul, because we want to talk about the spiritual, let's say. So do you have to make an effort? Are there certain things that you do to get there? Or it just has to come naturally? Is it an innate quality or is it acquired? What is your take?
Do you want me to? I'm going to ask you to think about a beautiful flower, since everybody here loves flowers, yeah? It's not the only thing that's beautiful, but it is beautiful. And so just think about a beautiful rose and think about the seed that's in that rose or any other flower that has seed. So think about the seed. And no matter how beautiful that flower may be, if that seed, if you look at that seed, you are not likely going to see the beauty in the seed. Seed is a seed. There's nothing beautiful, particularly about a seed, right? So if you really want to see the beauty of the seed, what the seed has to bring forth, you have to, first thing, you have to plant it in the ground. And then you have to nurture it, right, for it to grow. So you plant the seed in the ground and you give it some fertilizer and you give it some water and you make sure it's not shaded over so it's getting some sunlight, and you clean up the weeds and all of that sort of stuff to allow the seed to grow. And then the seed grows and it becomes a tree, and then it bears the flower or it bears the fruits. Had you not planted that seed in the ground, had you not watered that seed, had you not give it some fertilizer, whatever, the chances are it might not bear. It might not grow to become a mature tree, and it might not bear the tree, the flowers or the fruits that you're hoping it would bear. So, but the seed carries the potential. Right? The seed carries the potential for the beautiful rose petals and for the fragrance. But you had to do something to make it happen. The same happens here with the soul. Naturally and normally, every single soul has within it the potential for love, for peace, for humility, for respect, for dignity, for whatever those qualities are that we're defining as beauty or as fragrance. So in the same way, like the seed, we, the souls, are seeds. And we hold within us all the qualities. Every one of us have all the qualities within us, yeah? And for some of us, those qualities are sleeping. because we haven't really used them much in a long time. We haven't activated them, so they're sleeping. And so we have to awaken them. They're naturally there, but we have to awaken them and give life to them, new life to them, and begin to use them for them to become activated and real in our lives. So is it natural and normally always there, or do I have to do something to make it become alive? Both. It's there, but I have to do something to help it to become alive.
So I think I'm going to twist the question a little bit. So you're not getting the same question. So now Sister Carmen beautifully said that awakening, right? We have to awaken it. We have to awaken our interior, our being. That's so beautiful, Sister Carmen. And the potential is there. Never say I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's just the awakening is the key word, really, I got out of your discussion. But now I go to step further. And I'm going to ask you, rather than asking the same question, what practices, Sister Erika, you will suggest to theory is awakening. I can say I can awaken myself. I want to awaken. But what practice you will recommend? And what practice you do first? Let's listen to you first. What practice you do to remain in that awakening? How did you start? Maybe some experiences you can share. And then we will go to the next step. What would you recommend to us to do? Because that's the whole purpose of the evening, right? That you share some of your experience and your theory, and then we want to help our audience how you can do it, right? So that's all yours.
Following the same theme of a seed being planted, you have to surround yourself with a community that emulates what and who you can become. What I do, I'm very intentional, and I've always been since I was very little. I always felt the Spirit of God around me, and I always felt things very deeply. And so at a young age, I always surrounded myself with older people. Maybe one would call me an old soul, I don't know. But I always surrounded myself with older people because I wanted to learn from them. And I understood them in my young age and the way I process it for myself. The community is really important, just as a seed has to be planted in fertile ground. That vision of what and who I could become was my fertilizer. I had to see it and feel it, and then access it deep within myself. So clearly, even as a young child, I was seeking what I already was. I can express that now as I'm older. Couldn't express it then when I was younger, but it was familiar to me. It was like drinking a warm cup of tea or a cool glass of lemonade on a hot, sunny day. It quenched my soul. What I do currently is nature. I love walking. I love the trees. I feel really connected to just like parks and flowers and birds and hearing the sounds of birds, water, the sound of water. It allows me to stay present and not focus so much on what's going on in my mind, but really connect to what's around me. And then bringing that level of presence with me during the day and into my home, and finding that sense of peace that I can connect to even when I'm not in the park.
Very nice, thank you. You know, I'm touched the way you described your childhood experiences, and they're so much similar to many of us and mine, certainly. I don't want to go into my details at this time, but that's so nice that you shared. And this is actually what if we look back, a lot of us will find that comfort, right? Childhood comfort is the best comfort. People say, you call somebody by the name of their childhood, oh, the happiness you give to that person is huge rather than the later names, right? Such a simple thing. But this is where the comfort of that child is in that name. Right? You talked about love and purity. Those are, and the respect, whether it's nature, whether it's human beings, souls, or human beings we call souls. So the respect to them, that caring attitude, so that all builds in, and that all comes in, the fragrance comes out, and the color comes out, right? The color helps, color of the soul help in different ways. What practices you would recommend to? We didn't cover that question, right? That part of the question. So let me start with Sister Carmen while you're thinking. Now you got a clue already. So Sister Carmen, what practice you would recommend to us and my audience that they can maintain their color of the soul and their fragrance all the time? Is it the awareness of the being? Is it the awareness of the God? Is the company of the God, like you mentioned, Erika? So what would be the best tools? Yukti, I call it, right? What will be the ways of, look at hands-on kind of a thing. So kindly guide us.
It is all the practices that you mentioned. Specifically, I'll tell you what I do. And I think that what I do is pretty generic, that anybody can maybe experiment with some of that. And one of the things is the first and foremost thing, I think it's important for us to have a certain knowledge base, because the practice that is very essential, I find essential to keep me grounded and always to keep reminding myself of what I am, who I am, and what's true about me, is meditation. And the reason I say knowledge is important is that, you know, there are all kinds of meditation that we can do and that people do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the meditation that is done always enable you to recognize yourself, who you are, and what's the truth about you. So we can do meditation that allows us to become silent, become still, connect with the sun, connect with the ocean, connect with the flower, you know, all these wonderful things. But it doesn't necessarily allow me to connect with myself and to deeply begin to experience and appreciate myself for who I am. So the practice of Raj Yoga meditation, which is a meditation that we teach here at the Brahma Kumaris, is the meditation practice that I engage in now. And specifically what that does, it takes me into a space within myself where I am able to meet me. Meet me, who am I really? What is true about me? What is eternal about me? Beyond the identities, beyond what I've been told by others, beyond the programs that I've undergone all my life, beyond the experiences that I've had, good, bad, and ugly, beyond all of that, who am I? And in that questioning, the answers that will always come is, you are a beautiful perfect being. You are a being that is full and complete with love, with peace, with joy, with wisdom, with power. All of that is what will come out of this practice. And that is what enables me to live in the truth of myself and to break free of the illusions that I've been trapped in before, the the programmings that I have gone through, consciously or otherwise, because of life experiences that we've all had. You know, we become programmed because of all of that. And we live our lives thinking we are all of that. And we experience the sorrow and the sadness and the not feeling good about ourselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so Raj Yoga takes me back to me, the real me, that which I am seeking when I am looking for peace out there, when I'm looking for love somewhere else and from somebody else. It takes me back to me and say, first and foremost, all that you're looking for that is beautiful or that is fragrant is within you. And so that's the practice I engage in. And so I do that every day, not just one time a day, but many times a day and every day. It becomes a natural thing. It has to become natural. So it makes things become real and practical and take it out of the theory and bring it into reality for me. So that's one of the most important things, along with many others.
Thank you so much. That was a lovely answer, sister. I loved it. So the knowledge and the yoga, which means remembrance, right? Knowledge, we get the knowledge, and then we have some remembrance all the time. Like you mentioned, all the time, remembrance of the divine all the time. So when we in the company of the divine all the time, I'm going to behave the way I should be behaving, right? So that's how conditioning happens and over a period of time. What do you think, Erica? What is your take?
A daily practice is very helpful for me. And that's what has been so beneficial being a part of this. Brahma Kumaris is understanding how to navigate even the most difficult times with grace and ease. And sometimes I get it right, and other times I get it wrong. But I have a support network around me, like Sister Carmen and many others, the Sister Louise in the back, many people that I can call on for some insight on how to best navigate the situation and to rise above it, right? And now, actually, I look at challenges as an opportunity to grow versus whining and complaining about it. And that, let me tell you, that's big growth for me. Looking at it as an opportunity to become a master of the situation. And that is so empowering. It takes you out of victimhood and it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. And it makes you a victor instead of a victim. I would say that has been one of the most beneficial for me.
Wonderful. My 2 cents are love and courage. If I have love for anything and everything, and I keep my courage on, probably that will keep me moving. Come what may. Right? Love, love, love. So if we become an embodiment of the love, everything seems to get in there. That's wonderful. But we
One
have
of the other things for me too is this aspect of gratitude.
gratitude. Thank you, sister.
You
I
know,
was about to say.
gratitude for, you know,
Gratitude.
as she's saying, to see situations as opportunity and learning to be grateful for everything. And that takes me out of the space of being a victim
Yeah.
for anything and become the master,
Yeah.
you know, being in control.
Starting your day with
Gratitude is-
gratitude and ending with gratitude. can't be overemphasized, right? So that's wonderful. And I'm so glad your last statement that you made really connects to my next question. Did you read my mind?
Maybe she peeked on your paper, but.
Oh no, no, I'm hiding it. So my next question is, see the scenario in the world currently, right? Whether we can go a little bit outside and see what's going on. So much of chaos, war, finance, this and that, behavior. We can keep going on, but we don't want to get there. We don't want to criticize. And it's quite possible under such circumstances when they are adverse, let's call them adverse events, our color may become color of the soul, right? Our color may become little faded and our fragrance may become little less, not totally gone because we are not to lose the fragrance, but it may get a little blunted. It doesn't smell so great anymore and we are kind of a little bit upset here and there. What you do to bring your color and fragrance back to yourself, and you are more trained, what would you suggest to people who are not yet in the beginning or at the beginning phase? What would you recommend to them? So tell me what you would do first, and then you tell my audience and my Zoomers, of course. You don't want to forget you. To them, what they should do to rejuvenate that. Is it sometimes it can be very difficult. And one thing also I wanted to bring in before I forget quickly. It's not about me alone. If I look at that person sitting in front of me also as a soul, and I remain in that awareness that I'm a soul and I'm going to remain in steady state like that, with my color and my fragrance, and I like you the same way, exactly. You're not a body, you're also a soul. So my respect for you will be triple, 4 times, 10 times, million times. So my behavior to you will be equally very rewarding for me and you. So now go back to the question yeah, thank you.
The first thing I do is unplug. I get very still. I reduce the amount of conversations that I have, even within my home. I unplug from the computer. I rarely watch television, but I unplug from any sort of devices, including the phone. And I start to think, what is it that is making me unhappy? Because if there's any sort of sorrow that I have, that means that I've disconnected from source. And I've now attached myself to a story that has made me a victim. So I identify that and what I need to adjust and shift and change. I also practice more self-love because oftentimes it's easy to look at the things we've done wrong, but harder to extend grace and kindness towards ourselves in trying to navigate this life. Life doesn't come with a book, a manual. We're figuring it out. We're all trying to get it right. So I try to apply more kindness towards myself. And once I've sifted through and I'm still hitting a roadblock, that's when I reach out to my lifeline, my community, and I'm very transparent. And I'll share the things that I am really struggling with. And while intellectually I know what it means to rise above, when you're living it, oftentimes it's so difficult to do. So that's when I step outside of myself and I reach out to someone else to get their insight and guidance. And oftentimes that really is the key for me because There's a gentleman by the name of Tony Robbins. You've probably heard of him. He's a motivational speaker. Many years ago, I used to work for his company and do some volunteer work. And there's one statement that still resonates with me, and he would often say that the change that we want or need is based on a 2 millimeter move, right? Oftentimes we think it's a big thing that we have to shift and change when we don't realize it's like a 2 millimeter move. If you were ever to look at a ruler and look at 2 millimeters, it's like so minuscule. And he's so right. If you shift your mindset 2 millimeters, you'll start to let in the light, breathe a little bit, and look at things in a more elevated way than you had before.
Very good. Thank you. And Sister Carmen, what do you think? So in the chaotic times like this, what would you do?
Well, just to keep the principle that in any situation, I can either be a facilitator to help it to go in the right direction, or I can go down the same path with it. So I have to decide what would I like to do. If there's a garden over here and there's a forest over there, a garden of beautiful roses over here and the forest of thorns over there, and I'm in the middle and I have a choice, what would I like? Where would I like to be? What would I like to see grow more around me, right? The chances are I'm going to want to see more flowers rather than more thorns. So why don't I be in the garden rather than in the thorn? And in every moment, I have the option to choose what I want to support, what I want to grow. And if I want more chaos, more hate, more unhappiness, more anger, then I will get on that bandwagon and be like everybody else. If I want to see peace and love and joy, that too is available to me, and I'll get on that bandwagon. And if I don't see it with my eyes, maybe I can help to create it, because we all have within us what it takes to create it. So sometimes it's very difficult and very challenging. How do I look at the most chaotic scene and situation? How do I respond to it? And it's a matter of a mindset, a 2 millimeters shifting of my mind, how I choose to see it, what I choose to think about it. And what I think about it and allow myself to feel, and the attitude I bring into it, is an energy that will help to shift the space I'm in, the space I'm creating around me, and therefore the space that expands into the bigger world. So Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Didn't say wait for somebody else to change or wait for somebody else to create what you want. You begin to create, because we all have the power to do that.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, sisters. That was lovely. I enjoyed really. So and as you mentioned, both of you in some form, problem solver, be the problem solver. Two things that helped me, in addition to, of course, you have described all the principles and procedures. Pause. When there is a problem, pause and stop sign. If I stop my thought process, I give a little pause, and then I say, no, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to move on to something nice now. So that gives me inner peace, inner comfort, and I can see things a little bit better. And I can tell you, this transformation that I experienced over the last 5 years is unbelievable. Even looking back, I can see that, oh my God, this far. It's only 5 years. But it's a long journey, and it's a beautiful journey. It's very rewarding. These thoughts are lovely. I enjoyed the evening. And now we open it for question answers. If any one of you have any questions or answers that you want to give to us, we'll be happy to hear that. Kindly, thank you.
Oh, there it is. I have to say, Sister Carmen, you gave, I was thinking, a lot of times I forget things. I always use my brain as like a basket. I fill it every day, and by the end of the day, it sits right. I'm looking at it. We talk about it, goes right through. We study every day, and they go, well, what did you study? And by the time I get to work, the walk to work, I forgot. But what I did tonight with you is I was able to summarize. It was so cogent that there were words that stuck out, and two words. Each one had two words, and I'm going to use the word for Sister Carmen. Meet me. I've never heard that. It's true. When you meditate, you meet yourself. And that really resonated with me. I don't know how others feel when you meditate. How many of you do have a practice? Okay. Do you meet yourself? I do, but I never heard it in that term, and that is going to help me my next meditation. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to throw out a couple of other words that let's see, you had a great one. Victor, victim. Love that. And you, of course, love and courage, which was wonderful. And 2 millimeters, also 2 tonight. And my best number is 2. So I stuck with the 2, 2, 2, 2 is my, so this was just incredible. I don't know how you felt, but you spoke to me, and I met me. So anyone else, does anyone have any questions?
To me almost means come back to like your child. When I see myself meditating and coming back, it's like the me that was like the sweet little girl. And I need to
Yeah.
see that and feel it. And I notice that when I meditate. And that's who I want to see more of within me. And maybe other people might see it. I don't know, but I need to feel it. And that's like the little girl that ran after the ice cream man, the little girl that, smells a rose and really, listens to a bird and stops,
And the little girl is not asking for anybody to approve of it. She just enjoying herself.
Right.
And just being, right?
That's what meditation for me
Right.
really is.
And that's living with your fragrance and your colors naturally. yeah.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Anyone else? I'm sorry. Oh, yes, of course. This is my exercise for the day. It's fun.
So thank you so much. All your words are so deep and meaningful. I admire your peacefulness. I mean, your tone and your softness, and it's just, I have to remember to do that more often and not go away from that when others are very loud. But I also wanted to say that I love that you did say that you remembered something special about your childhood. And I was always, as a kid, around kids, and as an adult, kind of gravitated to the little ones in a room where there was like a family gathering and everybody would complain, where am I? And it was like, I prefer to be with the innocent little ones. And I couldn't deal with the adults. So there's something there about the natural, innocence of children. And this lady in the front also said something about that. Thank you.
Nice. Hold on, I think Louise. Oh, okay. Anyone else? The hour is getting a little late. If there's
Yes.
any, we do have time for more questions, but we have
could
a
take it.
meditation to focus on the 2 millimeters. Maybe we could move those 2 millimeters tonight. Ooh, can we do it? I think we can.
I don't know about the 2 millimeters, but okay. It may just take 2 millimeters to get inside, right? It's not that far away. It's right here. Okay, so let's just take 2 minutes and see if we can achieve the 2 millimeter journey inwards. Just to take a few moments to connect with the self and really begin to experience that beauty and that fragrance that lives within naturally. Just allow the body to become still, the mind to become silent. Just let go of everything of the day. Let go of the stories. Let go of what you have to do when you get out of here tonight or even tomorrow. Just allow yourself to become very present in the moment with yourself. Silent, still, peaceful. Turn your attention away from the world of matter, from the body, the stories, and turn your attention inwards to a silent space within the being. A space that is filled with light, with peace, with stillness. And just sit there for a moment and just breathe. It is in this space that I, the soul, reside. The soul, which is a being of pure light that is separate from the body, that is separate from the parts, the roles that I play, from the things I do, even from the thoughts I create. I am the one who chooses to create, who chooses to act, to play part. This being is a being of pure love, pure light, and peace. This being is full, is complete, is full of vibrant colors, the color of love, the color of peace, the color of royalty, of divinity, the color of joy. This being vibrates into the atmosphere, the fragrance that is imbued with the frequency of love. Vibrates the feelings of love, the thoughts of love, and expresses attitude, words, and does actions that reveals what is true within the being. The true colors of the soul that are natural, that are eternal, that are original, are all there. And so let me just sit for a moment longer and allow myself to feel that beauty and experience that fragrance that's within. That's who I am, and who I've always been. So amidst the chaos and the distractions in the world, I have the capacity to come back to myself, to connect with myself, to experience myself as being that is full and complete, that is beautiful, that is radiant, that is fragrant. Let me be that for myself first, and in a very natural way, know that if I am that, automatically it radiates into the world and changes the atmosphere around me, touching the hearts, the minds of those I come in contact with, leaving with them this fragrance that may inspire them to be themselves too, to experience their radiance, their beauty, their color, and their fragrance. And together, we all can change the world to be a world of beauty, of fragrance, and of radiance. Om Shanti.
Om.
Om Shanti. I don't want to get on the stage. I don't want to change the ambiance. It was just lovely. You know, the fragrance is in my spiritual nose, the taste, the sweetness is in my spiritual mouth. The words are ringing in my spiritual ear. Thank you sincerely. It was just, wasn't it? It's just beautiful. So I have a few announcements. Yes, there are now flyers in the back. How many of you are not signed up to our email list? Because you should, there's no obligation, but you will get a weekly reminder of the different programs, because it's not just Thursday evenings, we have programs a lot. Case in point, on Sunday from 3 to 5, right where you're sitting, we are having the Spirit of Yoga, which celebrates International Day of Yoga. And we have the General Council of India will be here, and the Chief Administrative Head of the Brahma Kumaris, and that is Mohini Didi, will be here. It will be a very special event for the public. In addition, next week, we will be back on Thursday, and we are blessed to have Sister Anjani, and we will see you again. And Zoomers, thank you so much. And my mom is out there in Florida. Hey, Mom, hope we'll talk later about it. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you. I will be remiss. I always forget our unsung heroes. He's raising his hand. Our AV squad, Brother Eric and Brother Narayan Bhai. Thank you so much for all you do. And Baba, what can I say? You're the guy. Thank you so much all for being here. Om Shanti. And please stay for Toli and your blessing.